Hello everybody, so today I'm going to go over how to set up a channel pack texture for the 6-point light setup and also do another example in Photoshop to show the different type of channel packing. I hope you enjoy the video. Cheers! So before getting started with the channel packing, first I'm going to do a quick simulation and show you how to export out the correct information. So if you're doing an explosion or a fire or whatever type of simulation you're doing, so this will go over how to do the lights and how to export them with the alpha and the fire. So to do that, I'm just going to dive in here and I have set this up already. I didn't do anything special here. I just went to the simple effects tab under the shelf tool and under the side effects labs. Click the billowy smoke simple and just clicked the fire here. So that will give me the fire information and set up a render stage. So for the render stage, I set this up in a different video, which is the 6-point light Houdini setup in Karma. Check that out if you want to see how I set all of this up. So now I'm just going to go over how to do the actual render setup for this. So for example, the only thing I actually do here usually is just mess with the camera and get the direct emission. So what the direct emission will do is separate the fire into a different layer, so that will allow me to use that in a different channel. So other than that, go into the rendering. I don't really have anything that I usually do here. Oh, if you're doing an explosion or something that's high velocity, it's a good tip to try and toggle on velocity blur and for both of these. And enable depth of field, that's right. I'm not doing anything here. Yep, that's all good. And change the resolution to 512. And I'm just gonna check out the resolution. Okay, nice. All right, just gonna do this. I just need to get it into a good position. Okay. I think that is correct. And I'm just gonna render out one layer. Sorry, one frame and not layer, because I don't want any other information and it's gonna take a while for it to render out like 64 frames or so on. Yeah, let me see. Direct emission, red, green, blue. Yep, I have all the correct information. I would say that I do want this to be a bit closer to the simulation so I can see the details in my channel copy. And the channel copy is in the channel packing process, sorry. Getting ahead of myself here. Okay, this looks perfect. All right, so the next thing, just gonna wait for it to render. Okay, so I'm just gonna save this frame. And let's see, desktop, export, call this 6-point, and save. Okay, and I mean, I really don't need to save this or anything, but I am just going to use it in here. So if you can start a different project, a new one, or you can use your current one. I generally just go new project because that way I don't have anything affecting this, even the timeline or anything. So if you go to the image, IMG tab, and then do right click and image network, dive in, I'm going to right click, do File, and you're going to get the default pick. And here, I'm just basically going to find my 6-point setup and import it in. And this is the texture that we're going to be with. So I'm going to go into the comps view, and this is where you're going to find all of this. So here you can see that you have your alpha, fire, RGB, and negative RGB. So for a texture like this, usually you're going to have it in two different textures, which is going to hold the information of RGBA. So in one of the textures, you're going to have RGBA, but the A for the alpha channel, you're going to use the fire texture in there. So the other one would be just the regular alpha. So that way you can control your fire, your light, and your alpha in two separate textures. So I'm going to take that into channel copy and make 4 different targets or copy controls. And then I'm going to do R, G, and B. So one thing you would know how it actually works is everything is going to turn into dark. And for the alpha is the same. So for this one is going to be RGBA. So this is the A with the alpha. I usually put my RGB A with the fire is within the negative RGBA. So for this, it will be red, green, and blue. And then I'm just going to use the A. So then I can just do one other thing, is make a copy of it. And same way, and red, and green, and blue. So now you're going to have your negative RGBA and switch this to the fire. So if you look at the RGB, that's where you're going to have. That's how it should work. And that's how you set this type of texture up. So if you have this in like a timeline and you have like multiple frames of this, then you're going to do a mosaic and then export it out. But yeah, this is how I would set something like this up. Please let me know if you have any questions about this. So for the next type of packing, I'm going to do that in Photoshop. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to go ahead and do it in Photoshop. Okay, let's go for 1024. Switch this to dark. Okay, so I'm just going to use textures that I've already made before. These are some of the ones I made from my previous tutorials. So I'm just going to use them because it's easier. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste them into here. Okay, that's the first one. And the last one. Okay, so I'm just going to make them into the correct sizes. All right, so packing this is pretty much easy. You just go to the marquee tool, select the layer that you want to control, like to copy into those channels. So it's going to be, for me, it's going to be this one, for example. It's going to be the first one. You're going to do Control X, and on your empty layer, Control C, Control V. Same thing for the second layer. Control X and Control V. Oh, right. It needs to actually be hidden. The top layer needs to be hidden for this to actually take effect. So if you go into the layer, green, there's that. And the same for this one, marquee tool, cut, and the blue channel. But yeah, that's basically how to set up pack textures in Photoshop. So you can actually do this for a lot of different things. I've done them to actually do 4 or like 6 type of different noises and like 2 textures. So that way, like my capacity for adding things in Unreal would be lessened. So it would save a lot on like texture and save a lot on memory. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you have a question, comment, or any request. I would say if you follow my tutorials and you actually do make something, please do tag me on social media. I would love to see what you come up with. But yeah, thank you so much. Cheers.